Good morning. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Or as I've always liked to say, Happy St. Me Day. Top of the morning to you. Morning. See, Bob Dewey, you had it correct. Jim Black, good morning. Andrew Buzzard, good morning. That's my cousin. Holy cow, got a bunch. Betty Carlson was first on the board. Hold on, I got to look over here. Betty Carlson, that's my aunt. Eddie Ambras, also my aunt, strangely enough. Bob Dewey, good morning. Jim Black, good morning. Andy, good morning. John Yao, good morning from way over in Arizona, if I remember correctly. Paula Scholl, good morning. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all. Yeah. Oh, no, that was just 2 exclamation points. And then Karen Buzzard. That is I'm getting a bunch of Happy St. Patrick's Day texts. Let me. Don't you people know I'm doing a show? I'm not texting. I'm just turning it off. I got a lot happening. So top of Mick Buzzard and O.D. Tring. That's kind of funny. That is pretty funny. So the Mick Buzzard thing. Sue Francis, good morning. Karen Buzzard. Yeah, okay, I'm good. Arizona, 72 degrees today. That's pretty good. I haven't been outside yet. No, I did walk outside today. So Central Ohio for St. Patrick's Day is at any given moment 12 degrees or 75 degrees, like any year. It is, and I've played outside on all of them. I've played in the snow and I've played in the unbelievable sunshine that you can just literally smell the pasty Midwestern skin, just winter skin, just like sizzling. It's just amazing. It's amazing. Green beer, intoxication. It's pretty funny. Katrina, good morning. It's awesome to see you on here. Appreciate it. So the I don't know if you saw the thing this morning, the Mick Buzzard number 1. So you guys may or may not be familiar with a young man named Dave Bichard, who's on the show fairly often. Dave's a handsome young man. Dave and his beautiful wife Angel and I were going to play last St. Patrick's Day, and they were like, we were gonna. I don't even know where we were going to play. It was like a morning set. We were going to do like a 2-hour set somewhere. Finian's Wake. It was Finian's Wake over in Pickerington, Ohio. Good morning, Ruthie. Glad to see you. Yes, happy St. Patrick's Day to you as well. Excuse me, I'm a little gravelly. So we were going to do a show, just acoustic show, song singings, all that kind of thing. And in typical Pat Buzzard fashion, if you've ever been in a band with me, you know that I'm let's just show up and see how it goes kind of person. I like to rehearse. I do. I love rehearsing. I love really being good and tight on everything. I do like to rehearse. However, when you run on Buzzard time, sometimes there just isn't time to rehearse. So you don't. So in this particular case, due to Buzzard time, we weren't going to be on the, we were just going to go down and kind of wing it. And I remember at the time, now Dave and Angel love getting gussied up for particular gigs. I saw them play a few years before, and they were decked, like maybe even wearing kilts in their band. Like it was awesome. It was awesome. They all looked amazing. Paula Jack, good morning. Bob, you've been a tenant at Flanagan's. Yeah, I have been. I have been at Flanagan's, freezing and sweating on the same day. That's exactly correct, because the days will start, 21 degrees, and then by midday, you've dressed for it, and then by midday it's 50, and you're like, oh, okay, this is nice. And then by 4 o'clock, it's so hot you can't stand it. Yes, may the luck of Irish be with everybody. I'm a 50%er. Half of me. I'm not sure which half. This half. Probably the forehead. That seems like an Irish forehead. I am 50% Irish. McNaught and Black. That's my two family, trees that ran into there from the Irish side. So it's always awesome. Let's see. Yeah, Buzzard time. You just kind of show up. Things don't start until the party starts with the buzzards. Everyone knows that. Speaking of buzzards, I didn't see a thing about it, and I generally don't look. I haven't been on social media a whole lot lately, but is it Findlay, Ohio? Findlay, is it Findlay, Ohio? They do the buzzards. They do a buzzard festival. Like the buzzards always return on the 15th, and I always find that interesting. McBride is in there too. Well, see, there you go. Eddie, you're giving away all the stuff. Let's see. Might as well do it now. Let's see what the so I'm gonna I was outside just briefly. 37. I was gonna say it felt like 37. Dead on. 100% accurate most of the time. So, anyways, Dave and Angel were like, well, do you want to dress up? Hinckley. What was I saying? Findlay. It's Hinckley, Ohio. Thank you, Steve Dieter. And gosh, you know a lot of stuff, Steve. Yes. Yeah. Well, again, you can tell I don't prepare. I just show up, talk, blah, 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 blah. Run my cake hole or pizza hole or whatever you want to prefer it. But so Dave and Angel were like, do you want to dress up or like what's your thing? And I'm you guys know me. I'm a black t-shirt, maybe a gray t-shirt. It's pretty much my jam. My entire music rock career is pretty much black t-shirt. Now there's moments where I tried to sway in and out. There's some pictures of the early days of Saving Jane, particularly where now this would have been 99, 98, right around there. And these sort of like club shirts. So they were sort of stretchy, sort of spandexy, but not, like, so they're flexy, which was kind of nice, but they were sparkly and gold lames and things like that. And there's a few of pictures of me out there, I'm sure, of wearing like, what is that guy wearing? And totally not my wasn't my best look in a pretty good segment of not good looks. That was not a good time. Brett Wyford, good morning, man. Brett, we have spent many a St. Patrick's Day together, so good to see you here, my friend. It's called Buzzards Day in Hinckley. That totally makes sense. So anyway, so Dave and Angel were like, well, what if we just we could get matching shirts? I'm like, fine, whatever. So I'm wearing the shirt that we have. So I have to take these off for a second, but this is what we were going to wear. Hold on. Now, everyone got to customize their shirt a little bit. You'll understand in a second. Front. I hope you got to see all that. I'm not, I don't have another monitor behind me. I can't see what's in the camera or not. Yeah, celebrated by having pancakes and sausage. That's a good way to celebrate pretty much anything. So anyways, the McBuzzard shirt, which was to be debuted last year, never got to be worn in public. And today is the first day I've worn it. So I'm glad to be sporting my every St. Patrick's Day shirt, McBuzzard #1. So there you go. So funny thing about St. Patrick's Day, growing up with it, was aware of it. It was a day you wore green. I don't think in the 70s. No, I'm not gonna get pinched. That whole pinch me stuff, negative Ghost Rider. I don't like to be pinched. Julie, thank you, Julie, and happy St. Patrick's Day. Sorry, so Miss Julie got a coffee cup. Good morning, Jeremy Hunt, celebrated by pancakes and sausages. You can understand my eyes immediately went to the celebration of breakfast, pastries, and meats in a casing. It's awesome, and I won't get pinched. Exactly. But so growing up, St. Patrick's Day was something I was aware of. It was my day. I always, hey, it's my day, whatever. And then, you'd wear green, maybe, sometimes your mom with the best intentions would have you wearing green pants. And in the 70s and in your early 80s, if you wore green pants, you were Mr. Green Jeans for the day. I don't know if anybody remembers Mr. Green Jeans, but oh my gosh, Claudia is pinching today. Claudia, that's, well, if she comes by, she could one pinch. Green waffles, you might want to get rid of those. They might have sat in the waffle shelf a minute too long. But so there, you knew that it was a thing. And then in college, like, we were getting drunk on cheap beer 4 or 5 days a week anyways. So St. Patrick's Day wasn't really a thing that we went crazy on. Like, it was noted, but it wasn't really much more than that. And then, so I lived back home for another year or two, and then I moved to Ohio, and specifically Columbus, Ohio, and that's where I learned that St. Patrick's Day is a much larger deal in larger areas. Now, Pittsburgh does a huge thing. Boston does, like, all these cities do big things. I was just never in a large city on St. Patrick's Day, and it's at first it's almost like it's alarming. You're like, what are we doing? Like, we're getting up when? So if you're not familiar, it's sort of like tailgating, but there's no game. It's the best way I can describe. Like, so, like, if kickoff was at noon, you'd show up at 6 a.m. and start guzzling for game time. But there's no game. So you just show up at 6 a.m., start drinking, and all right, Julie, go run. I'm not going to be running today. I'm going to go for a walk, though. That'll be nice. I am getting my shot today. Not a green shot. At least I hope it's not green. I don't know. Getting vaccinated. So see how that goes. My coworker said to be brave, take a breath. So that's what I'll do. But the level of party that was my first St. Patrick's Day event that I went to awesome, Randy. Was yours number 1 or number 2? I thought you were number 2, but I'm just going in for number 1. The level of intoxication and all day partying really was alarming. Like, I didn't know people did that. And okay, awesome, Randy, congratulations. And it's yes, Tracy Wilbur Carroll, it is always a good day for a vaccine. So then I went there. So in Columbus, Ohio, there's a place called Flanagan's, and there's a place called Flanagan's Pub. Now, where the place you mostly see that I'm playing is a place called Flanagan's Pub. They are also doing a huge St. Patrick's Day thing. But in the 90s, when I lived here, Columbus, Flanagan's was like the big rock stage and radio station thing. So, like, the big radio station here in Columbus, Ohio is WNCI. Yeah, 6 o'clock. Yeah, St. Patrick's Day in Boston is insane. It's insane in Chicago. Like, it's insane. So me and a couple of buddies I worked with, a friend of ours was playing up at Flanagan's, and it was a guy. Yeah, the one up on Sawmill. That's the one. Back then, I don't know if it's still that way, but back then it was like, I mean, it's like 1 million people went. Like, it was ludicrous, the amount of people. It was a pretty big bar on the inside, still is, I believe. And then they had a huge outdoor area venue. Like, they set up a tent that was like, I don't know, Bob, what that hold up there? 1,000 people and just in the tent? I don't know, maybe more. And there was 2 bands running the whole time, or a DJ and a band, or a band and a DJ, or an acoustic guy and a DJ. But it was constant. And then they'd bring in like the people that dance, the flailing leg dancing. I'm not an anti-Chicago guy. I haven't had that much fun in Chicago. It's a little too dense for me, like too crowded. But I can only imagine that St. Patrick's Day in Chicago with them. Don't they dye the river green there? Is that Chicago? They do that. So I can only imagine. It's insane. Because Flanagan's, a suburban bar in Columbus, Ohio, was insane. And I don't know that I ever drank so much beer and wasn't drunk. Like there's this very particular time. So our buddy played and like had the whole place going crazy, and you ran into people you didn't know, or you knew, or like you're like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in whatever. And you was just like a reunion of sorts. It was just really super crazy. And then I had another friend's band that was playing outside, and they were, I saw them. There's a band called As Is. Oh, you're right. Yeah. Walk It When You Teach There. Yeah. That's actually my only beef with Chicago is the traffic. The traffic's, I don't know Chicago well enough to avoid it. I don't know if it is avoidable. It's horrible. And I say horrible from a guy that was usually driving a 15-passenger van with a trailer and a bunch of people that are not happy about sitting in traffic with you, surrounded by cars that are not happy about sitting in traffic. So my experience is only that, and it's terrible. The couple of shows we played in Chicago were great, but we didn't even play there that often. I think I was very like, nah, I don't like to go there. Probably the one thing I had influence on was probably that. But you'd get to see these other bands play, and it was awesome. And it was a lineup. It was always like a who's who of like the bands of the day. So like As Is was playing, Chuck and Bubba would play. I'm trying to get other bands of the time, like who was big then. I can't remember. I mean, it's over 20 years ago at this point, so I guess I can be forgiven. But then like years later we played there, and it's just off the chain. Like, and you can literally go up and you could do this, just like blah 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 blah, and people are like, yeah, and they're guzzling the beers, and then like this weird thing happens. It's like, so people get it there at 6, they drink pretty hard till say 11 a.m. and then there's this pause, and at that point they either go home, go to work, which is hilarious, or they switch to Jameson because they're truly Irish today. And that's the sign of really shamrocking it up. And they start getting Jameson drunk. Jameson. My cat's named Seamus. So they start getting Jameson drunk on top of a pretty good, cheap beer drunk. Yeah, Frank Lydia. Yeah, well, that was As Is. That's the band. Smalls, Frank, Shannon, and Shorty. I will always argue it was one of the best rock bands I've ever seen in my life, especially that day. Like that band that day was the best I've ever seen. So this particular day, the day that I saw, I'm literally guzzling beer, and there's people getting Jameson drunk around me, and I'm just still drinking beer because I had this plan that I was going to go back to work. I worked construction at the time, of all things. Now, it wasn't like I was going to go and start framing a house. It was like a cleanup day or whatever, and I'm like, I'll come and see this, and we'll go. And the guy I worked for was with me, and our plan was to drive back. So, or to get there. So like we're drinking, and Gretchen Bishop showed up. I don't know if Gretchen's on here today. I don't know if I missed you, but Gretchen Bishop showed up, and so we were like, we're not drunk. It's so weird. Like I wasn't drunk, but it was like, you're still pretty happy though. You have enough in you that you're happy. Gretchen shows up. She had just gotten off, like she'd worked at 12. She was a nurse at the time, and she's like, let's do this. And Gretchen Bishop used to drink Prairie Fires, I think they were called. Gretchen, if you're on here, remind me, but I think you called them Prairie Fires. And it was like tequila with hot, like with Tabasco sauce on top. And it was Gretchen's famous, that's how she would catch up when she was late to a party. That's how she would catch up, and she would catch up, and we party, we're having a great time, blah 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 blah. And it's like, and then the room is wasted at this point, like, and let's say it's 3:00, and my Gretchen's heading, and there may have been some law breaking when it came to how much alcohol was consumed and how much driving was done. And I'd like to point out, I unbelievably am anti-drinking and driving. Unbelievably. Like I am the worst. I'm like the sit kind of person. Back then I wasn't. All right. I've learned. Okay. But it's a terrible thing. Just want to point this out. So we go to leave. And I say to my buddy, I'm like, do I seem okay? Do I seem fine? He's like, you seem fine. I'm like, I feel fine. Like, I don't know if I should drive, but I feel fine. He's like, you're fine. You seem fine to me. We asked other strangers, like, do I seem fine? They're like, you seem fine. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm fine. So we get in the car. I had a truck at the time. I love that truck. It was a Ranger pickup. I love that thing. Anyway, so we drive home and we are just like windows down. It's like 75 degrees and we're just like blah 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 telling stories about the day like you were there too, but remember we were this and this band was so good. Oh my god, this is the greatest day of my life and blah 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 blah. And then we go to this I can't remember. All right, so we go through a fast food joint. That's what it was, like a Wendy's. Might have been Steak and Shake. I don't remember. It was Steak and Shake because there was one close to where we live. Go through Steak and Shake, get a fairly large amount of food because I haven't eaten all day. Go back to, then I go to drop him off in his driveway. And you know how like sometimes you pull in, but you're still finishing the conversation. So you're like, blah, 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 back and forth, back and forth. And his name's Randy. And not Randy Carnes, by the way. I do know more than one Randy. Just saying. And I'll never forget this. As I'm sitting there and Randy's telling the story, all the alcohol is hitting me. And I'm like, I'm sagging in the saddle, to say the least. Like all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's like I've been tranquilized. He's talking and talking and talking. I'm like, Randy, I am literally down to minutes. I gotta go. So I famously drive home, lay out all my food on the coffee table to eat it, and then pass out. And I was found that way. I was found passed out on the couch with none of it touched, none of my food touched, that's saying something. That's how quick that hit. So, anyways, that's a St. Patrick's Day story for you. I was gonna tell probably Rice Brothers stories, but that one seemed to be the one of the day. So funny story. Yesterday was the actual 1 year anniversary. I was going to look it up and see it, then it showed up in my feed. So yesterday was the actual 1 year anniversary of the show. So congratulations, everybody. Happy anniversary. We're here. It's official. And I'm not seeing any comments, so I'm hoping the feed's still going all right. Or I've literally gotten so boring that you've all left, which is honestly, I could see it going either way. Let's see. You played the Double Door Fireside Lounge, Chicago. Yeah. We played Joe's on Weed Street a couple times, and that's a thing. Like, oh, which Joe's? The one on Weed Street. So it's the name of the place is Joe's on Weed Street. Julie Aaron, good morning. Julie, you got here just in time for me to sign off. So thank you for showing up. Top of the morning to you. And oh, there we go. Oh, I'm riveting. The birthday was yesterday. It was actually yesterday. So Karen Buzzard, I love you. I love you to death. Yeah, you know what? That's what we were going to talk about, Scott. We're going to upload it and share it tomorrow, and it's only 11 minutes not long, and we might do we might watch it while we're like live like this. We're going to try to like have another window, and maybe we can talk about the show. So. Well, actually, Julie, your timing is perfect because I wasn't sure what the exact birthday was, and then it showed up in my feed. So tomorrow we're going to try to watch the original show together. Just see how it goes. I think it'll be funny. But all right, everybody, I've got to go. I've got to get schmackinated, and I have to do some Lego thing, and I have actual work to do. So it's that kind of day. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Have a happy day. Remember, this isn't the best day for everybody. Remember that some people are going through difficult times. And if you're going through a difficult time, remember you're not alone. So we're all in this together, all of us. Not everybody you meet is a nice person, but not everybody you meet is a bad person. So be good to each other. Take a deep breath before you do your shot. Just be cool. Just be cool with each other. Be excellent to each other. And party on. All right. I will talk to everybody later. Oh, gosh, I just love every darn one of you. Except you. No, of course. I'm kidding. I love everybody, even you.